If you're planning to send your first pitch email, then you need to hear this, because this one thing can make all the difference between crickets in your inbox and signing your first art licensing contract. I've been licensing my artwork since the beginning of 2024, and I have my artwork licensed from fabric and wallpaper to wall art. I've reached out to hundreds of companies in the last 2 years, and there's something that I learned really quickly early on, is that these companies and these art directors are really busy. And even if they might love your artwork, or they would possibly be really interested in working with you, getting in contact with them can be tricky. And that means that even if you are sending them emails, they may not be opening those emails. They may not even be seeing them in their inbox for one reason or another. And so for artists who are pitching their own artwork, the thing that sets apart the licensed artists from the unlicensed artists is following up. You have to follow up on those first emails that you send to those companies. Absolutely, no matter what, it's gotta be done. And here's why. These companies and these art directors are so busy. And so even if your email does land in their inbox, they may not have seen it, or if they did see it, they may not have had time to open it. Often these art directors and companies will even see your email, open it, and like what they see, but they may not have had time in that moment to email you back. Do you know how easy it is for those emails, even with good art, to get lost in the shuffle? So easy, it happens all of the time. And this is why you absolutely have to follow up with those first emails that you send. I've had a decent amount of experience with this, and let me tell you a story about when I signed my contract with Kate and Laurel. So Kate and Laurel is a home decor and wall art manufacturing company, and they sell and distribute through a lot of major retailers like Walmart, Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and so on. And way back at the beginning of 2024, my portfolio was smaller, I had less experience, and I saw Kate and Laurel, so I went to their website and I saw that they were accepting new artists to work with. And so I wrote up my pitch email, linked to my portfolio, and I sent it off, and nothing. I didn't hear anything. You know, they were always kind of in the back of my head. They were on my spreadsheet of companies I'd like to work with and I was pitching to, and I think a few months went by and I decided to contact them again, and nothing. More time went by, and then I decided in the summer, you know what? My portfolio's grown, my art has developed and gotten better. I'm going to pitch to them again. And so I reached out again and sent them my new portfolio, and they got back to me. They said, hey, we love your work. We'd love to work with you. Let's talk the details and send over a contract. This has been an exciting license deal for me because it has given me more exposure, and it's gotten my art into places that honestly, a year ago, I would have just dreamed of having. Had I not continued to reach out to this company over the course of multiple months, I wouldn't be licensing with them. So always follow up. Because you're gonna be reaching out to so many companies, you're gonna wanna keep track of that. And so I'm gonna tell you how I like to keep track of my pitching and what schedule I follow to make sure that I am following up properly with these companies that I've already reached out to. So when I first started pitching to companies, I created a spreadsheet on Google Sheets, and I put down the company name, and then I left several columns for dates, and each slot was for each time that I've reached out to that company. I put down the date of when I first contacted that company, and I put in some notes. I saved their contact information, and then I put in some notes about what exactly I sent them. Sometimes I send them specific work that I want them to look at, or that I feel like would be a good fit, or that have mock-ups that I made specifically for that pitch, and then usually their website. Once I've sent that initial pitch, I always try to reach out to them about 2 weeks later. So I'll send the first pitch. 2 weeks later, I'll follow up on that and I'll say, hey, I'm just checking in to see if you got my last email. I'd love to work with you, yada, yada. If I still haven't heard from them, I will usually email them again a second follow-up 2 to 4 weeks after that. If it's still crickets, if I still don't hear from them, then I just kind of reach out on a quarterly basis, sending them new work and updating them on what I have available. This has been really beneficial because I have another contract that I've signed was like a year in the making. We were about to sign a contract a year ago, And then the art director decided to cut the designs that they were going to license from me. And so I was pretty bummed about that. And this was a good manufacturer that I was really excited to work with. So rather than forgetting about it and just saying, well, that would have been a great opportunity, but oh well, I continued to reach out to them every few months and send them new work. Well, almost a year later, after I sent them my newest collection, they said, hey, we love these designs. We'd love to create a whole collection of home goods with them. And so let's sign a contract. The biggest key takeaway from this video is to follow up. And one of the biggest reasons for that is when you are contacting companies, you're developing a relationship with them. And you've got to remember that there is an actual person on the other side of that email, and there are so many good and nice people out there. They want to see your artwork and they want to work with you. And so just remember that when you're following up, especially once you start a dialogue with these art directors or these companies, you're developing a relationship, and that can eventually, as you continue to nurture that relationship, it can turn into a really great collaboration in the future. If you didn't see my first video in this series, then be sure to watch this video right here because I talk about the 3 things that you need before pitching.